Rashid al-Din once said, "Leadership is not about controlling people, but about guiding them to a better future." Welcome to Legacy of History, where we delve deep into the stories of empires, leaders, and their enduring legacies. Today, we journey into the life of Tughril Beg, a man whose vision and determination turned a nomadic tribe into one of the most powerful empires of the medieval Islamic world, the Seljuk Empire. From the unforgiving steppes of Central Asia to the palatial courts of Baghdad, Tughril's story is one of resilience, ambition, and profound faith. This is the tale of how a warrior became a sultan and how his legacy reshaped the Islamic world. Seljuk Bey famously said, "A great tree grows from the smallest seed, nurtured by strength and conviction." Tughril Beg was born around 990 AD into the Kunuk clan of the Oghuz Turks, a nomadic people who lived on the vast windswept steppes of Central Asia. Life here was both beautiful and brutal. The endless grasslands, where winters were bitter and summers scorching, demanded strength and resilience. The Oghuz Turks lived in tents, herded livestock, and followed the rhythms of the land, a lifestyle that shaped Tughril from birth. Tughril's family traced its roots to his grandfather, Seljuk Bey, a man of vision and influence. Seljuk Bey had guided his clan through one of the most transformative decisions of their history, their conversion to Islam. This act, while spiritual, was also deeply strategic. It connected the Seljuks to the broader Muslim world, granting them alliances, trade opportunities, and a sense of unity. The historian Ibn Khaldun describes Seljuk Bey as a leader who understood the power of faith and foresight. He often told his grandsons Tughril and Tughril Beg, "Faith unites hearts, and unity builds strength." These lessons left a lasting imprint on Tughril's young mind. Tughril's childhood was shaped by both love and loss. His father, Mikhail, a brave warrior, died in battle when Tughril was still a boy. Left under the care of Seljuk Bey, Tughril and his brother grew up in an environment that valued strength, discipline, and loyalty. From the age of 6, Tughril was trained in horseback riding, archery, and the tactics of warfare. These skills would later define his leadership style. A Persian proverb reminds us, before a man can lead an empire, he must first learn to lead his own clan. When Seljuk Bey passed away, Tughril and Tughril Beg inherited not just leadership, but also the challenges of a fragmented tribe. Their uncle, Alp Arslan, sought to claim leadership for himself, threatening to divide the Seljuks. This family feud was more than a personal struggle. It was a battle for the survival of the clan. The historian Sibt ibn al-Jawzi describes Tughril during this period as a man of calm resolve. Despite his youth, he demonstrated a wisdom beyond his years, understanding that unity was the key to strength. Tughril confronted his uncle, leading a decisive campaign to consolidate power. His victory was not just over Israel, but over the forces of division that could have shattered the Seljuks before their rise. This moment solidified Tughril's reputation as a leader who could make difficult decisions for the greater good. Tughril Beg once stated, "Victory belongs to those who plan well and fight with purpose." Among Tughril's notable military campaigns was the conquest of Nishapur in 1037 AD. Nishapur, a city of immense cultural and political importance, was known for its scholars, poets, and merchants. Tughril's entry into the city marked the Seljuks' rise as a formidable power in the Islamic world. The conquest of Nishapur was one of Tughril's most significant military achievements. The city, heavily fortified and strategically located, was under the control of the Ghaznavids. Tughril knew that taking Nishapur would not only secure the Seljuks' dominance in Khorasan, but also send a powerful message to rival factions. Tughril commanded a force of approximately 15,000 troops, a mix of cavalry and infantry. The Ghaznavids defending Nishapur numbered around 20,000, giving them a numerical advantage and the protection of the city's walls. However, Tughril's strategy was meticulous. He began by cutting off supply lines to the city, isolating it from reinforcements and resources. His forces, well trained in both mounted and infantry combat, surrounded Nishapur, creating a siege that tested the resolve of its defenders. The siege lasted several weeks, during which Tughril employed psychological tactics to weaken the morale of the defenders. By allowing some messengers to escape and spread exaggerated accounts of Seljuk strength, he ensured that fear would work in his favor. Meanwhile, his engineers worked tirelessly to breach the city's walls. The final assault was swift and decisive. Tughril personally led a flanking maneuver that disrupted the Ghaznavid defenses. His use of deception and rapid strikes overwhelmed the defenders, leading to their surrender. Once inside the city, Tughril's actions showcased his vision for leadership. Rather than plundering Nishapur, he restored order and implemented policies to revive its economy and culture. He appointed administrators who blended Persian traditions with Seljuk governance, ensuring the loyalty of the local population. Ibn al-Athir writes, Tughril's entry into Nishapur was not the end of a conquest, but the beginning of an empire. This victory set the stage for further expansion as Tughril's reputation as a just and capable leader spread across the region. In 1040 AD, the Battle of Dandanakan became the defining military confrontation between the Seljuks and the Ghaznavids. Tughril and Tughril Beg commanded a Seljuk force of 20,000 highly mobile cavalry against Sultan Mas'ud Durr's army of 50,000 heavily equipped troops. The Ghaznavid army had the advantage of superior numbers and well-trained infantry. However, Tughril turned the vast desert terrain to his favor. His forces harassed the Ghaznavid army's supply lines, cutting off water and provisions, forcing Mas'ud's troops into desperation. When the Ghaznavids finally engaged, Tughril's forces executed a feigned retreat, drawing the enemy into an ambush. Once the Ghaznavids were overextended, the Seljuks launched a devastating counterattack. Mas'ud's army disintegrated, with many soldiers surrendering or fleeing. Tughril's tactical brilliance turned the tide of the battle, securing Khorasan for the Seljuks and ending Ghaznavid dominance in the region. The Abbasid Caliph Al-Qaim is remembered for saying, "To protect the Caliphate is to protect the soul of Islam." The Abbasid Caliphate faced internal discord and external threats, particularly from the Fatimid Caliphate in Egypt and the Umayyad dynasty, who had exerted control over Baghdad. The weakening of Abbasid authority left the Caliph Al-Qaim in a precarious position. Seeking a savior, he turned to Tughril Beg, whose reputation as a just and capable leader had reached Baghdad. The call for help was both strategic and symbolic. The Abbasid Caliphate represented the spiritual heart of the Sunni Muslim world, and aligning with Tughril, who had demonstrated loyalty to Islam through his actions and governance, was a natural choice. Tughril, understanding the importance of this alliance, responded promptly. However, this was not merely a call for assistance. Tughril saw an opportunity to legitimize his growing power by aligning with the spiritual leader of Islam. Tughril's entry into Baghdad in 1055 AD was a carefully orchestrated event. Arriving with his disciplined army, Tughril expelled the Umayyad forces and restored order to the city. His actions were not just military, but also deeply political. By securing the caliph's authority, he positioned himself as the protector of Sunni Islam. In gratitude, Al-Qaim bestowed upon Tughril the title of Sultan of East and West, formally recognizing him as the temporal authority across the Muslim world. This marked a turning point in Islamic history, where the Seljuks became the de facto rulers, ensuring the caliphate's spiritual leadership while they managed the political and military realms. Tughril's protection of Baghdad brought stability to the region, strengthened the Sunni Muslim bloc, and laid the foundation for future Seljuk dominance. It was a mutually beneficial relationship that elevated both Tughril's status and the caliphate's legitimacy. Rashid al-Din wisely noted, "The strength of an empire lies not just in its armies, but in its alliances." Tughril Beg exemplified this wisdom throughout his reign. He understood that the durability of an empire is not solely determined by its military victories, but also by the strength of its relationships. His marriages were not merely personal unions, they were strategic tools, carefully crafted to secure loyalty and create stability. Tughril's first marriage was to a woman from a prominent Persian family. This union symbolized his alignment with the Persian elite and ensured their support for his rule. It also helped integrate Persian administrative traditions into the Seljuk Empire, providing a foundation for efficient governance. This strategic alliance solidified his legitimacy and strengthened the Seljuk position in regions where Persian culture and influence were significant. Tughril's second wife came from the Abbasid Caliphate, specifically from the Caliph's family. This marriage carried immense political and symbolic weight. By marrying into the Abbasid lineage, Tughril elevated his status as a protector of Sunni Islam and reinforced his legitimacy as a ruler in the eyes of the Muslim world. The union symbolized the Seljuks' role as defenders of the caliphate and created a spiritual and political bond between the Seljuks and the Abbasid leadership. These marriages were not mere formalities, but deliberate efforts to solidify the Seljuk hold over the regions they governed. Tughril's alliances extended beyond marriage as he forged diplomatic ties with neighboring rulers and tribal leaders, creating a network of alliances that would serve the Seljuks for generations. However, Tughril's personal life was marked by tragedy. Despite his marriages, he remained childless, leaving a looming uncertainty about the empire's succession. This lack of an heir cast a long shadow over the Seljuk dynasty's future. Yet Tughril's foresight and unwavering focus on stability ensured that the empire was resilient even in the face of this challenge. His efforts to institutionalize governance and strengthen alliances became a shield, safeguarding the empire from fragmentation after his passing. Rashid al-Din observed, "An empire's strength lies in its foundations, its weakness lies in its heirs." Tughril passed away in 1063 AD, leaving behind a legacy of unity and strength, but also a throne without a direct heir. His nephew, Alp Arslan, would rise to continue the Seljuk story, leading the empire to even greater heights. Tughril's death brought immediate uncertainty to the Seljuk court. While his leadership had ensured stability, his childless status left a vacuum. Alp Arslan's eventual ascension marked the continuation of Tughril's vision, but also signaled a new chapter for the Seljuk dynasty, marked by bold military conquests and cultural achievements. Historians like Rashid al-Din and Ibn al-Athir remember Tughril as a leader who combined the wisdom of the steppe with the vision of a statesman. His death marked the end of one chapter but the beginning of another, as the foundations he laid would support the Seljuk Empire's prosperity for decades to come. A Seljuk proverb reminds us, "A ruler's greatest challenge is not his enemies but his own court." Tughril's reign was not without challenges. The Ghaznavids in the east and the Byzantines in the west constantly tested Seljuk strength. Tughril faced these challenges with a combination of military strategy and diplomacy. One of Tughril's key challenges came from within his own court. Rivalries among generals and advisors posed significant threats to the unity of the empire. Tughril's leadership was marked by his ability to mediate disputes, maintain loyalty, and prevent internal divisions from destabilizing the Seljuk state. Externally, Tughril was careful in managing the Byzantine frontier, employing a mix of skirmishes and negotiations to maintain balance. His strategy emphasized securing the Seljuk heartlands while cautiously expanding their influence. Tughril's ability to manage these challenges showcased his political acumen and strategic foresight, ensuring the Seljuk Empire's survival and growth during turbulent times. Ibn Khaldun noted, Tughril Beg was not just a conqueror, he was the builder of an empire. Tughril's contributions to history are monumental. He unified the Oghuz Turks, revitalized the Abbasid Caliphate, and laid the foundations for one of the greatest empires in Islamic history. His reforms in governance, military organization, and diplomacy set the Seljuks apart as a model for subsequent Muslim empires. Tughril's architectural and cultural patronage also left a lasting impact. While primarily a military leader, his establishment of educational institutions and support for scholars fostered a golden age of Islamic learning and culture. His policies not only strengthened his empire, but also contributed to the broader Islamic world's intellectual and artistic achievements. The enduring legacy of Tughril Beg is reflected in the Seljuk Empire's influence on governance, culture, and religion in the medieval Islamic world. His life stands as a testament to the power of vision, resilience, and leadership in shaping history. Thank you for joining us on Legacy of History, where we explore the lives of history's most remarkable figures. In our next episode, we will uncover the story of Alp Arslan, Tughril's nephew, whose courage and tactical brilliance led the Seljuk Empire to its most famous victory at the Battle of Manzikert. Additionally, in future episodes, we will dive deeper into the Great Seljuk Wars, examining their strategies, their turning points, and their long-lasting impacts. For now, we continue to focus on the remarkable story of the Great Seljuk Empire and its legacy. This is Legacy of History, bringing the past to life.